What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are going to talk about an upcoming One Piece Ichiban Kuji series, and the name it is called the Ichiban Kuji One Piece Takumi Genealogy Duel Memories. I have no idea if that is even a right name, but I've seen the name of it on stores like Big Bad Toy Store and they just call it Duel Memories. The release date is the 25th of May 2022 this year in Japan. So this series we are sort of getting Luffy and some of his more famous adversaries made into figures. I believe that this goes under the Sumishikikaigi sub-series that we have seen before on the previous Ichiban Kuji. So we can expect their style, their quality to be quite similar. For price A, we have Monkey D Luffy. His height is 12 cm. So here we can just see Luffy sort of getting ready to launch an attack. Most likely it's Red Hawk because we have flames surrounding him, and it kind of draws inspiration from the art that is on the left. I believe the art came first before the figure. The face looks to be decent. I think the likeness is quite okay. The hair sculpt looks fantastic as well, with how they are layered and divided into the strands. And if you look at the left hand, the details are also quite amazing on the fingers, on the palm. And we have his abs, his muscles, the scar. The fire just goes around in like one circle. And I believe it's also connected to the bottom of the left and right feet. Creases and folds on some of the pants to make it look more natural. And we have more photos of him so we can have a better idea of what we will be getting. Side view really shows how his body is positioned and how some of the flame colors are. Obviously, we have those usual spectrum of colors that transits. Maybe it's a bit darker towards the bottom and it gets lighter when it goes up. And here we get an idea of how the coats fly backwards. Another angle from the bottom up view, so you can appreciate the flames more as well as his body. And the back view here, so we can see the details on the hat. It looks fairly simple. Some of the creases on his shirt, some of the back muscles, and some of the details on the pants, as well as the fire. All in all, I think the figure is rather decent, but the main selling point is probably that Luffy is in his new Onigashima outfit. That gives it something interesting. For price B, we have Charlotte's Katakuri. The height is 10 cm. Just by looking at this image, I gotta say the details are quite insane. I believe the sculptor is the same one as the one who did Yamato and of course the King, Mako, Kaido, etc. And if you really want to see how crazy this is, just look at the hair. Just look at the hair here. Imagine how difficult it is to sculpt this out into individual hair strands to make it as detailed as possible. I believe a lot of work went into this and it is very impressive. And of course on top of that we have those massive well sculpted muscles on his back, his arms and his chest. Again, the hyper realistic details on his bracer, his gloves as well as his biker pants, just by seeing all those lines and texturing. I wonder if he will look good next to the Ichiban Kuji Snake Man, given that they are from the same sculptor. Colors overall are quite good. I have no complaints whatsoever. And he seems to be supported by a stand that is, like the usual smoke or cloud that he uses to design and support the figures. And it looks like there's also some haki streaks coming out as well. Could be Conqueror's haki or anything. All these lines. And lastly, his left arm, he is using his mochi Devil powers, which is really cool. So more photos of him, and I think this photo you can clearly see the haki streaks popping out from the base at the back. Another angle, and I think with the lighting here you can really appreciate the muscles more. And looking at Katakuri's face, I kind of wouldn't say this is one of the better ones when it comes to getting his likeness right. It looks to be a bit off, but I'm not able to pinpoint exactly why. Could be the distance from the forehead to the eyes. I think that's not exactly accurate. And this photo, again, the back muscles, they are so good, so well sculpted. And again, with the lighting, with the reflection, you can really appreciate the texture on his pants just by looking at this unfocused photo. Another angle from his left, and just check out those veins popping out. Absolutely insane. He looks so good. And the only bad thing about this figure is that it's 10 cm, so to me it seems to be rather small. But that is probably to the top of his head here, not including the arm. And I'm really curious as to how he will sit next to the Snake Man. Oops, one more picture from the back so you can appreciate the muscles once again, and his butt. I hope that this figure doesn't come with those ugly squarish bases. If not, I don't see why they would have added all this smoke design in the first place as a support. Price C, we have Donquixote Doflamingo, and his height is 9 cm. Here we have one of the more epic villains in One Piece. The eye-catching thing here is probably him using his Fruit powers, the string fruits, and him just doing like a slash forward, kind of like Wolverine or something. He's being supported by this semi-circular effect connected to his legs. Details-wise, I think definitely not as crazy as Katakuri. The hair and the head has a very significant and obvious connection here. And the hair itself, I mean, just compare this to Katakuri, it is on a different level. This is much more simplistic. No shading as far as I can tell too. And I think the hair is sculpted. The shape of it just makes it not look like Doflamingo for some reason. The muscles here are decent. And the coat, I would say it is also fairly detailed. Again, we have more pictures. Here on this angle, we can see clearly that his left hand is doing that sort of like hand sign when he uses his powers. And I think from here as well, the coat seems to be made or connected from multiple pieces. So there's some connection lines, some seam lines. Yeah, and I think looking at it over here, from the hair to the forehead, this is not looking really good. It actually catches your attention in a bad way. I don't think it's supposed to. The muscles look okay. The shirt and the creases and folds on the pants looks to be alright. Side view, and here you can tell that the connection is over here. His right knee, right foot, and I think this part with the coat. I gotta say, just by looking at these pictures, you can tell that the material they use, the PVC material they use for this figure, it just looks cheaper. And I know it sounds weird, but by looking at it, you can tell that it's probably gonna be light. It's those lightweight material. View from the back, and like I said, the seam line, it is too obvious. They probably could have hidden it better. I think my S Cultures Figure Colosseum Doflamingo has no such issue. I think the whole coat came in one piece. Next, this is Price D. We have Rob Lucci, and his height is 10 cm. So this guy, just by looking at him, I know it is from the same sculptor as Katakuri. Just by looking at the amazing, luscious hair coming out and the details from that. It is the exact same type of details we have seen before from other figures. Right away, I don't think it needs any mention, but it just looks so impressive. Highly detailed, and it's not just on the hair, it's the same thing on the clothing, with those lines, with those texturing and folds, as well as the skin of Lucci. This is him in his hybrid form, so there's still some fur around the chest, around the limbs, and even the special effects thing supporting his hand and feet just looks incredible. The paint application of the leopard prints looks really good too. And honestly, I gotta say, I'm very excited by this figure. I wouldn't mind having a hybrid Rob Lucci in my shelf. More photos. This photo, you can really just appreciate the effort that is being done on the hair. It kind of reminds me on the one from Brook Figure Colosseum. I believe it is the same sculptor as well. The style is exactly the same, the way he has done the afro on Brook. And I guess it is the same thing over here. Probably would be a huge pain in the ass to clean if you don't take care of the dust. It's gonna go into all those crevices. Looking at his outfit, amazing realistic design once again. And you can tell that the creases kind of aggregate around the top here where the muscles are to just show that those areas are sort of exploding out from the suit. And again, with the lighting, you can really tell all those lines they have added. And we have this beautiful tail at the back. Some details on the limbs. I think you can see that for yourself. The claws. Another angle from the frontal side. So we get a better look on Lucci's face. And also the chest fur coming out. Sort of the white paint added onto it. The neck muscle still in human color. Front of the suit with the white tie, the white pocket square. Back view, and yeah, you can just see the details on yourself. But I just thought of something funny is that does Lucci's pants always has an opening towards the back so that his tail can come out when he's in this form? Does he have a zip over here? Oh man, this just makes me think about it. It's so funny. Price E, we have got Enel. The height is 13 cm. I would say stylistically, this is much harder to tell who the sculptor is, but I would lean towards the same guy as who did Katakuri, the same artist who did Katakuri and Lucci. By that, it's because I see a lot of similarities with how the muscles are sculpted, as well as how the natural folds on the clothing are. Looking at the details, I think this Enel is fantastic as well. Face, I think they got it right, 100%. Looks like Eminem, and those earlobes just flying up in the air to show the motion. Right arm, we have this golden bracer or bracelet, as well as him holding his weapon, this golden rod with a glossy paint added onto it. Muscles looks fantastic, you can see for yourself. Unfortunate seam line over here. His outfit, this cloth is kind of flying upwards. It almost feels like he is doing his superhero landing, so the motion is going up. And of course the details on his pants looks fantastic. It looks amazing. I like the paint application on it. It gives the figure a more expensive feel. Lastly, he's supported on one of his lightning effects or lightning attacks coming out. This forms the part of the stand, and some of it, I guess, coming out from the arm or other parts of the body. More pictures, but we will move to other angles so we can get a better look. Here you get a really good view of the drums on his back, how they are painted. And even on the drums on the side with the texturing, they are done in great detail to show the wood texturing. Again, over here, the muscles, you will have a good look. He has the kind of skinny, muscular physicality, not too buff. Not like Katakuri, which is a buff lot. Another view from the side with the drums popping up from the back, and some of the waist sash, some of the cloth flying upwards. And texturing wise, also similar to how the pants as we saw on Lucci and Katakuri. It has a rough kind of carving laid onto them. At the back here, we have the lightning streaks flying upwards. The full back view and the highlight is probably the paints they've added to his pants. The bronze paints, and also around the ankle bracelets with a bit of gold color. They added some fine lines on the bronze area as well to show some thread-like features. Price F, we have Sir Crocodile or Mr. Zero. His height is 7.5 cm. The style on the main body is very similar to the one on Doflamingo, but if you look at the details on the sand effects, it looks fantastic. I think they really done well with the texturing of how the sand will look like, and of course in the stroke of motion that is kind of attacking from back to front. This is also Crocodile in his Alabasta outfit, which is the better outfit in my opinion, compared to the Marineford outfit, which he still wears, I believe, post-time skip. Facial likeness looks to be decent, but of course the hair details looks very simplistic. Same for his outfit, not too crazy. And the coat's probably the more detailed part, similar to Doflamingo, but once again, you can just tell the connections. They are very obvious, and I wish they could be more well hidden. This picture here, you get to see the full extent of the sand stretching outwards towards our right. And the way they have done the curvature of it gives it more life and more randomness to the effect. Side angle, and it really shows you how wide the effect goes from back to front. I think there's a bit of shading around the sand effect as well as the grainy random texture they added to it. Crocodile's coat is completely flying towards the back with this sleeve going upwards. He's kind of like doing a superhero landing as well. And his left hook here is painted in a slightly metallic gold color. Another turn from the same angle, and you can really appreciate other details around the coats. All these lines they have added, and again how deep the figure goes from front to back. From the other side, and from this angle, we can't really see much of Crocodile's main body. The sand effects takes up most of the space, but at the very least we can see some of the creases on the sleeves, on the pants, as well as the black glossy paints on his shoes. Okay, to round it off, I will just go to price G, which we will be having glass cups. Price H, we have art boards. And price I, we have long towers. We have a last one Luffy version, which will be different in terms of the color, but we have no idea how he looks like as of this moment. And we also have a double chance Luffy figure. So that's all I have for this Ichiban Kuji series. As usual, let me know what you guys are looking forward to. For me personally, it is mainly Lucci and Katakuri, maybe Enel. I really like their styles, and to me, Katakuri and Lucci just looks absolutely fantastic. Alright, so if you like my video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share them with your friends. If you're new here and you like what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell notifications button so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.